Financial Survival Network, helping you survive and thrive in the new economy. Go to CarrieLutz.com and sign up for 30 free micro trainings on financial survival.
$14.90 WGCH. This is Carrie Lutz. You're listening to the Financial Survival Network. Time for another Triple Lutz report. As you might know, I live in the People's Republic of New York State. And our commissar, our head commissar, is Andy Cuomo, and his number one apparatchik is Nanny Bloomberg, mayor of the People's Republic of New York City. And it's basically a police state. And as if I needed any reminder, yesterday, I'm driving through Manhattan, and I want to find a store. So I've got my iPhone, and I admit I have a 4S. And I pushed the button, and I said, Siri, find me a furniture store. And she pops up a list of results, and I look up in my mirror, and there's red lights. And I'm like, okay, I didn't do anything. I didn't run the light. I wasn't speeding. So this must have something to do with the cell phone. Nanny's boy in blue gets out of his cop car and comes over and like, oh, you're on a cell phone. I said, well, I wasn't texting. I wasn't on a phone call. I just was talking to Siri. And he gives me a look like, I don't know if he knew who Siri was, if he knew who Steve Jobs was, if he knew who Apple Computer was, but he knew that he had a live one and he was writing a ticket. And he says, well, you're not allowed to keep anything electronic in your hand while you're driving. And I'm like, that's the anti-texting law, is that I can't have an electronic device in my hand while I'm driving? I mean, what if it was a hearing aid? What if it was an iPod? I mean, this is absurd. It has no relationship to keeping motorists safe on the highway. It's just a scam perpetrated by the governor and our freaked up legislature, which Albany is the most dysfunctional state legislature in the country. And they're short of money chronically because they can't tax us enough and spend it fast enough on useless programs, on failed programs, on buying votes, on stealing. I mean, so many of our legislators have been indicted, have gone to jail, and are just all around ne'er-do-wells, people who, if you knew they were in your neighborhood, you would lock the doors and put your children in a safe place, because these are the worst. Our legislature is just made up of a bunch of scammers. And what really, really gets me is when they're doing something to protect me from myself. I think I should be the judge. All right? I've got insurance. I follow the law. If I crack my car up because I got distracted with a cell phone call, or if I got stung by a bee, or if I spilled a goddamn cup of coffee in my lap and it was too hot because I bought it at McDonald's, and then I'm going to sue them for several $1 million for selling me hot coffee that I might just spill in my lap. It's just an outrage. I don't need these people to protect me from myself. I really don't. And the fact that these politicians all know better for me what I should be doing, trying to control my behavior, it's just infuriating. Every time you go into New York City, regardless what, you're going to spend $100, whether it's you drive your car, you park it, you buy lunch, you go to a show, you're spending tons of money. So what I've decided to do is to pay for the $150 ticket. Oh, and that's another thing. $150. You'd think I was public enemy number one. And I get 3 points on my license for this stupidity. When will it end? When will it end? I mean, in New York, it's just a police state. I guess on my cell phone, I represented a terroristic threat. I might have been talking about reimposing the gold standard and putting silver back into circulation. And that really makes me somebody to be feared by the powers that be. And Nanny Bloomberg, you're not happy making sure I don't smoke. You're not happy making sure that I don't have trans fats. And you're not happy opening up these beautiful bike lanes all over the city that nobody uses. And you're not happy putting in all these ridiculous promenades that have messed up traffic in Midtown Manhattan and caused a perpetual state of gridlock. Now you want to make sure that I don't have anything in my hand while I'm driving. So what's next? Are you going to ban eating while driving? How about putting on makeup? That's going to criminalize every female who gets behind the wheel of a car. Have you ever met a woman who didn't put makeup on while she was driving? I haven't. This is the goal. Criminalize all behavior, and granted, this isn't something I'm going to go to jail for, but they penalized this behavior. They penalized a natural thing. What if I had the phone on the seat and I picked it up and I put it in the glove box? I just committed an offense. I can get a ticket for that. So somewhere this has to stop. New Yorkers should be enraged by this, but New Yorkers just don't seem to care. They just seem to want more and more corrupt, inefficient, wasteful, destructive, and totalitarian government. It seems they can't get enough of it. And at this rate, I'm going to join that guy I talked about from Illinois and go to Texas, because if you drive your car 100 miles an hour on a Texas highway, you might get a ticket. It's not definite. You might get one because everybody speeds in Texas. There's no state income tax, lower state sales tax than New York, and there's still a sense of freedom. Very liberal carry permits, very liberal laws concerning most things that you want to do. It's starting to look like an option, although the idea of leaving the Northeast, which has been my home, where my children live, is a tough decision to make. One other thing, go to KerryLutz.com, KerryLutz.com. It always has the latest postings. Every interview, every show I've ever done is up on the site. Sign up for the Financial Survival Toolkit. It's got a lot of great information. You'll also get our weekly newsletter so you can keep track of the trends that are going on in the world, the trends that are going to affect your wealth, that are going to affect your family, and that are going to affect your life going ahead. Also, today on Valentine's Day, that's February 14th, 2012, for those of you who aren't into the spirit of it, I'm going to have a roundtable with Yaron Brook, who is the head of the Ayn Rand Institute for Individual Rights, and I'm going to be having Doug Casey, both of them on a roundtable, and they're going to debate anarchy versus limited government, how much government is enough, how much government is too much, and believe me, I'm going to be talking with them about this BS bogus ticket that I just received, compliments of Nanny Bloomberg's Boys in Blue. This is Kerry Lutz, been another Triple Lutz Report, signing off.